Rise and crime, everybody. I'm Rachel Souza.
And I'm Michelle Chan.
And this is the first episode of our podcast that is on Canadian true crime.
So each week we'll have a local news story, and then we'll have a bigger true crime story.
That comes from the Great White North. Canada.
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 All right.
Well, because, you know, all those podcasts are always like American or British or Australian, and it's not like we don't have crime here. We do.
No,
so
I feel like there's a lot in Canada.
Yeah, there's a lot in Canada that don't get talked about.
Really? Because I've listened to a lot that are just...
Okay, well, maybe I'm not listening to the right ones, but I don't know, so obviously we both listen to My Favorite Murder, and that's what inspired us.
There's, they recommended this one that was called Dark Poutine.
Oh,
and that was good.
Well, I don't know. All the ones I watch on YouTube, I watch,
Oh, you watch them on YouTube?
I watch tons of true crime on YouTube. BuzzFeed Unsolved, even though it's,
Okay, yeah. But,
that's never Canadian.
Podcasts, I go to, I browse it, and then the recommended is Canadian true crime.
Yes, because you're located in Canada, and Spotify knows your entire brain, whereas
so
YouTube does not.
Maybe you should go on Spotify. Wait, do you listen to My Favorite Murder on YouTube?
No, I listen to it on Spotify, but I watch, Bella Fiore, Eleanor Neal, Danelle Hallen, they're all, British, Australian, USA.
Okay.
Anyways.
Fine. Fair.
So, today, Michelle will start us off with the...
Markham Robbery.
The Markham Robbery. Oh, I was there, everybody.
Alright, so... Are you ready?
I mean, the jewel's out. I'm kidding. No, I'm not.
Just not kidding. There is a jewel.
No, there's not. No, there's not.
Rachel is jewel.
No, there's no jewel.
Very much there is.
No.
Alright, so at 6:25 p.m. on Sunday, December 30th, the York Region Police were called to Markville Mall in Markham, Ontario. So there had been an armed robbery at a Chinese jewelry store called...
Look Fook Jewelry. Love that place. It's still open.
No one ever goes inside. I feel... Okay. No, okay. More people go inside of that than Swarovski.
Well, it's because Markham's Asian.
Okay, yeah.
But also, yeah, nobody goes in there, but even if one person goes in there, it could pay my rent for 3 years. Because every bracelet in there is $26,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You sell something once and you're good for the month.
They literally are.
Yeah. So, but just before this time, the police were also called to the Markham Ghost Station because there had been a suspicious package reported.
Okay, tea on that. So, I had, heard from people, people were texting me and being like, there was a large bang at Markham Ghost Station, now the bomb squad's there. And I was like, okay, tea, but are you sure? So then I, called Allie, and I was like, Allie, ask Zach if there was a large bang. So he was like, there was no large bang. So there was already, news going on. There was bombs in Markham, which was not true. But anyways.
Oh, yeah. You know that? Remember that time where they were like, there's dead bodies in that Boss Lake or whatever. But it wasn't. It was just, kids that fell into a frozen lake.
No, it wasn't kids. It was a guy who committed suicide. Oh, that's...
Oh, is it actually?
It was.
I thought it was just some dude trying to ice skate on that frozen lake.
No, he tied his dog to a tree and then jumped in, and they couldn't get him out in time.
Oh my god, that's awful.
So that's what actually happened. See, these stories. This is why we're doing this.
That could have been another one.
Okay, well, stay tuned. Oh, well.
Alright.
Hit like or subscribe if you want to hear that. No, kidding.
Okay, so for some background information, the mall closes at 7. Maybe they thought there'd be less people. Yeah, I guess. And but someone still recorded the entire robbery from the second floor.
We'll have the link to that video in the description.
Yeah, so because the mall is open at the top so you can see directly underneath, and it was just the entire robbery, them going in and taking everything.
And then the people in the video are like, run, we need to get out of here. And I'm like, yes, you do.
Yeah. So there were 6 suspects that had arrived in 2 vehicles, and they had entered the store wearing construction vests and were equipped with guns and hammers.
Okay. They didn't have guns. That got proven.
Did they?
They didn't. Okay, so what happened was when the hammers hit the glass, it was so loud that everybody thought that they were shooting, but it was actually just hammers. So they didn't actually have guns. But also... if you see 6 construction humans going into Luck Fook jewelry,
Kind
like,
of sketchy.
do you not clue in already?
Like,
Not to say construction workers don't buy expensive jewelry. I'm just saying it would be very weird for 6 construction workers to all enter one jewelry store at the same time with hammers. Just saying.
I mean, the hammers weren't exposed until they tried to break everything.
It's still odd.
Yeah, it is odd. So they smashed the glass cases in the store and they stole, like, an undisclosed amount of jewelry. And, yeah.
Okay. Can I tell you a theory that I heard from my boss at work?
What's the theory?
About this robbery. So, Luck Fook jewelry. This is just a theory. Disclaimer. This is not fact. This is just a story that I heard that I thought was really interesting. Nobody really goes in there, but... And the
the insurance theory?
The insurance theory. So the theory was that they hired people to rob the store in order to get the insurance money because the jewelry was so expensive because they weren't getting any business, and that's how they're going to stay open. And then at the same time, it's, like, huge advertisement for them because their name is now everywhere. Because, like, a week after the robbery, they had this huge grand reopening.
Did they?
They did. And I was like, you guys just, like, got terrorized and now you're all chill, like, come back to our store. I don't know. I just thought that was interesting because I never see people in there.
I see people looking inside, like, look from the window.
Yeah, the window, but nobody actually goes in and makes
that's
purchases.
True.
Like,
you, like, point to the thing.
Yeah, and you're like, look at that $26,000
yeah, basically
bracelet.
No, they're, like, little animals. They're always little animals. Like, solid gold animals. Like, little pigs.
I mean, my aunt went to China and bought a jade bracelet for $900, and I was like, did you really need that?
Actually?
She did.
Whoa.
So that's a jade bracelet. Now imagine, like, the gold shit that they sell. Like, that's expensive.
Yeah. So they fled the scene, but the police were able to catch up to one of them and arrest them as they were running onto a very busy intersection. And that was also on video of him getting arrested.
Okay. Can I just say, if you're watching a criminal flee a scene with a big hammer and you stop your car and get out and film, you're an idiot.
No, they were on the sidewalk.
Oh no. If you look in the
video,
okay, yes, the video is from the sidewalk. But if you watch that video, link in description, that you see people stop their cars and get out and film on their phones.
Do they actually?
Yes.
That's stupid.
It's so stupid.
It's
and Highway
dangerous
7
too.
is such a busy road.
So busy.
So stupid. Like, you are literally getting in the way of police, my guys.
Yeah. So, back to the package. It was meant to be a diversion. It was proven to try to get them away, but, like, the police station and the mall are 750 meters away from each other. So, the GO station is, like, 2 kilometers away from the police station. So, I guess that would have been, like, a kind of diversion, but, like, you could still get there in, like, 5 minutes.
I mean, 5 of them got away, so they're kind of successful.
That's true, because I wrote 5 of them got away.
Well, 5 of them did get away, and
they did.
They haven't caught any of them.
I know, that's wild.
That is wild, and back to my theory of the insurance theory. The reason that, they think they haven't caught any others, because usually, like, they can, like, get that guy to give up his accomplices, right? Like, police, like, interrogation, like, tell us the other guys. Right? But he didn't. And that's such a, like, you hire people thing. I don't know.
Really? Because I feel like once you hire people, it's like, they'll just say whatever. Because it's like, they'll put the blame, like, you hired a hitman, and, like a criminal as a hitman, but they're not actually a hitman. They'll just give you up right away.
That's true.
Like, you remember, like, Jennifer Pan?
Ooh, that's another,
yeah.
That's a story for,
like, they just... Spoilers.
Jennifer Pan's, that story is wild. Okay.
That's a different episode.
That is a different episode. But, okay, this robbery, probably the most interesting thing that's happened in Markham in a while.
There's the kidnapping.
Ooh, that's also to come. We have a lot to talk about.
There's a lot of crimes.
There's a lot of crime in Canada, everybody.
Or maybe because we just noticed it.
We're not all polite. Some of us rob and murder. Such as the Scarborough Rapist. Okay, so...
Good transition.
That's a great transition. Okay, and we're back. And for you guys, we went nowhere, but for us, it's a completely different day, so it probably sounds differently because I was unprepared the first time. Love myself. But for our major case this week, we're going to be telling you about the Scarborough Rapists, aka the Schoolgirl Killers, aka Paul Bernardo and Carla Homolka.
Exciting.
Yes.
I've never heard this case before.
That's crazy, because that's, like, super close to us.
I know. But, no, I've heard of him. Just not, I never looked into
like
it.
The details.
Yeah.
It's wild. Side note, back this, like, I've heard about it because my mom, like, lived in Scarborough when it was happening, and she went to University of Toronto Scarborough while he was going to University of Toronto Scarborough.
Did she tell you about it?
Like, she would just tell me, like, how scary it was to be in that time.
Oh.
And side story, she was, like, walking home one day from her boyfriend's apartment in the middle of the night to her family house while this was going on. And I was like, girl, that's scary. Why would you do that? And then a car pulled up next to her, and she was, like, freaking out because obviously. And
what would you do if a car just, like, rolled up slowly beside
while
you?
this was going on, I would have ran, screamed, I don't know, but the car pulled up, and it was her friend Tim, and he was like, why are you walking home in the middle of the night? You're so dumb. And the moral of the story is, call a friend, walk with a buddy, have pepper spray.
Have your keys.
Between your knuckles. I do that when I walk home.
All the time.
All the time, because it's so scary in my area. It's a scaria. Anyways. Okay. I should probably start the case already. Okay, so, Paul Bernardo, born in 1964 in Scarborough, Ontario on August 27th. But the story even starts before that because his dad, Kenneth, was known around the neighborhood as a guy who would, like, watch young girls change from in their windows.
Wait,
and
his dad?
His dad would do that. So it kind of starts before he was born. And the dad even sexually molested Paul's sister.
Oh.
So his own daughter.
No.
Yeah. So after all this, and he was, like, pretty verbally abusive to his wife.
Okay.
So she moved into their basement instead of getting a divorce, which I guess is a solution.
I mean, it's cheaper.
Agreed? I don't know.
It's a non-solution.
Need that mother figure still around there. But yeah, so then Paul was born, and everyone said Paul was a really great kid.
Wait, did he molest the daughter before Paul was born?
I actually don't know. It didn't say when or how old she was, so maybe not. I don't know. Don't you...
So, the mom lives in the basement at the time that Paul was born?
No, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
That's out of order.
Oh, okay.
That's just, like, his dad's creepy.
Okay, because I was going to say, like, instead of, like, a divorce, you have another kid.
Could you imagine?
Ugh.
Well, I don't know. I don't know the timeline. Maybe it was that way.
Maybe.
Okay, anyways. So everyone said Paul was a really great kid, and he was, like, super cute and smart, good manners. He was a Boy Scout. And that's how it all begins, right? So when he turned 16, his mom told him that his dad, Kenneth, wasn't actually his dad. So he actually wasn't related to his dad, and his dad was, like, an affair that his mom had during the marriage. That's how he was born. He was born out of, like, an affair.
Okay, so the mom had an affair.
Yes.
With someone else.
Yeah.
And does the dad know?
The dad knows, yeah.
Like, does the real dad know?
The real dad knows, yes.
And so does the bad dad.
Well, I'd assume so, considering it is his child.
Yeah,
I don't know,
true.
maybe.
I don't know, maybe not.
Yeah, I don't know.
You
the
can
internet
fake
doesn't
that.
say everything.
Okay.
But yeah, so his mom told him this when he was 16, and then Paul was pissed. He was so mad, so he, that like, fueled his hatred for women, and then he started verbally abusing his mother as well.
Wow.
We
what?
we love, like, fake father, like, fake son. Anyways, so that happened, and then he started high school at Sir Wilfrid Laurier Collegiate, not the university. There's a high school. I park at this high school all the time when I go to look at Guildwood Park. I don't know if you've ever been with me. So there's this park, Guildwood Park, and it has, like, all these ancient relics, and I can never find where to park. So I was just parking at that school, and then I was researching this, and I was like, oh, I know that place. I parked there. Anyways, so yes, so he started high school there, and he started dating a lot of girls, but he would get broken up with pretty quickly because he'd be really abusive to his girlfriends, and he would, like, humiliate them in public and stuff.
That's fucked up.
So he would get dumped. Graduated high school, and then started at University of Toronto Scarborough in Scarborough. And he started a new job at a place called Amway. It's like a marketing company, and he was a salesman. And he totally took, like, this whole salesman thing way too far and started using his sales pitch on, like, a way to pick up women.
Ew.
Yeah, and it was working.
Ew. You know when you, like, have you ever seen, like, Dragon's Den?
Yes.
And then, like, they have that, like, fake-ass sales pitch, like, tone of voice.
Imagine that, but, like, a guy trying to pick you up with that. He's
so
just
weird.
like, hello, Michelle. Here's what I can offer you.
Like, have you ever been in a situation where
do you like abuse? Do you like public humiliation? Well, look no further. What is he pitching?
I don't know.
Anyways, so we're going to take a break from Paul and we're going to talk about his counterpart, Carla. She was born May 4th, 1970, making her 6 years younger than Paul. And she was born in Port Credit, which is close to Mississauga. Her father was an alcoholic and he was also abusive to her mother, and her mother also moved into the basement.
Wow.
I was like, wow, common
Parallels.
traits. So growing up, she was obsessed with animals, and she really wanted to be a veterinarian. And during high school, it was said that she was super edgy, like death crazed, loved crime.
Relatable.
Okay. Whoa.
But, like,
no, she was like,
you mean emo and likes crime?
okay, yes, that's relatable. We like crime, clearly. But it was said that she would, like, be obsessed with death and, like, plot ways to, you know, kill people and stuff.
Oh,
we don't do
okay.
that.
No,
we don't do that.
She a psychopath?
I mean, so we're gonna fast forward a little more. Now we're in the year 1987, and in Scarborough there is a bunch of reports of young women being assaulted. Specifically in 1987, there was 4 women aged 15 to 21, so quite young, being assaulted and raped by a young white male. The last girl that in this year that got assaulted got a really good look at the attacker's face and was able to draw up or tell a composite sketch artist what he looked like, and they created a pretty accurate picture of him. So that's just a side note. I'm trying to keep this story in a correct timeline, but I'm really failing at it.
Do you know how he, like, assaulted these? Like, did he wear a mask or, like...
He would attack them from behind.
Oh.
That was, like, the main thing. And then he would, like...
push them against the wall or something?
Basically just do everything in his power to make sure they didn't see his face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So in 1987, both Carla and Paul attended a convention in Toronto, and they met each other. She was 17, he was 23. And they immediately were, like, sexually attracted to each other. So they were both staying in the hotel above the convention, and she took him up to her room, and they, you know, did what people do in hotel rooms. And instead of, like, all the other girls who would dump him for his abusive ways, she was, like, super into his behavior, and it made them, like, so perfect for each other. He was like, God, this my dream woman. She loves that I'm sadistic.
She loves abuse.
Yes.
Look no further.
Look no further. That pitch on her, she accepted it.
Works every time.
So, anyways, that was a thing. And then soon they started dating, like, soon after that. And then
Wait, did the rapes happen before they started dating?
Yes, before. So the Scarborough Rapist was already, like, known.
Okay.
As, like, a thing.
Yeah.
And then they started dating. And then he was like, hey, girl, by the way, I'm the Scarborough Rapist.
Oh.
And she was like...
Cool.
Okay, in my notes, I wrote, she said, XD, okay, LOL. Yeah, she was into it. She was like, okay, sick.
Seriously?
And he was like, don't tell anyone. She was like, will do.
The fuck?
So, I'm just going to tell you a side story of something he did. So he broke into a 15-year-old... Oh, by the way, if you didn't get the point, those rapes from earlier, or those assaults, were Paul. That was him. He did those things in 1987. And one of the stories, this one's really interesting, is he broke into the home of a 15-year-old girl and tried to attack her, but her mom walked into the room mid-attack, and he escaped real quick. And from what the mom saw, she thought it was the girl's ex-boyfriend, and he actually got convicted of it.
The ex-boyfriend?
The ex-boyfriend of the girl got convicted for it.
Wait, did the girl think it was also her ex-boyfriend?
Well, she didn't know because she couldn't see anything. So
yeah.
She went off of what her mom saw.
Yeah.
And that she thought it was the ex-boyfriend.
Oh my God.
This was in 1987. He got convicted. He got 16 months in prison. And then in 2006, so, like, so many years later, Paul was like, jokes, it was me. So he literally ruined this guy's life. He was known as a sex offender and convicted rapist for like 19 years.
Yeah, that's
Is that math? That is math.
Up.
So that is like tea. After he started dating Carla, assault cases started popping up in Mississauga, which is like where she's from.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, come on, guys, start looking at this. And people started calling into the police after they saw the composite sketch, and they were like, hey, guys, that's definitely Paul Bernardo. You guys should bring him in and question him. So the police did. They brought him in, and they questioned him, and he was totally cooperative. They were like, oh, it can't be this guy. He's so nice. But they took his DNA just in case.
Yeah.
Just keep that in mind. They took his DNA.
What does this guy look like? Is he like a Ted Bundy kind of guy?
Everybody says that.
Yeah.
He's a Ted Bundy type, like very attractive. But I think it's weird to think of serial killers as attractive. But he's a serial killer. He's gross. But
yeah.
Yeah, no. But people say he's attractive, yes.
I think
so
it's scarier.
Then Carla and Paul got engaged.
Mm-hmm.
And she started getting engaged in acts of rape with him.
Wait,
that play
how
on
long
words.
have they been together?
So they got engaged in 1991.
Okay.
No, 1990. So they'd been together
1990.
for 3 years.
Okay. And she's 20.
She's 20, he's 26, yeah.
Okay.
So acts of rape kept happening in Scarborough, Mississauga, and her parents were from St. Catharines, and they were starting to pop up there as well. And the city of Toronto was like really trying to stop this. So they were like, the city of Toronto proposed putting a curfew on women, which is the worst thing I've heard ever, because it is not women's fault that they're being attacked. It is the fact that there is a rapist that is the fault.
Yeah.
But that's just horrible.
Yeah, it's bad, but also like I kind of understand because they're trying to keep them safe.
I know, but it's just like women shouldn't have to be
like
put
you
onto a
shouldn't
curfew.
You shouldn't have to live in fear. Like that's
Exactly.
not your fault.
But the TTC, love them. They started the requested stop program, and it still exists today, where if the bus along the bus route, it's more convenient for the bus to stop somewhere closer. You can tell the bus driver, and they can stop at somewhere between stops if it's closer for you.
Oh, that's nice.
So keep that in mind. That still exists.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say like someone would walk you somewhere, but
Oh,
that
I
exists.
wish.
That exists in universities.
Yeah, which is super good.
Yeah.
Okay, 1991. Carla is working at a pet store, and one of her coworkers, who's 15, they become friends. Mm-hmm. Okay, I do find this a little weird. Her coworker's 15, she's 21, and she invites her 15-year-old friend over for like dinner, drinks, and have a sleepover.
Okay.
Is that weird? They're 6 years apart.
I don't know if that's weird because like I guess it's different because like my brother's like 10 years older than me and like he has girlfriends who are like maybe like 2 or 3 years younger than him, and then we would hang out when I was like 15.
Okay, I guess, but that's like your siblings, like they're over because of your sibling. I guess they're friends because of work. I don't know.
I don't know because people at work, right? Like I'm friends with like 30-year-olds.
But isn't it weird that she's asking a 15-year-old to come over for drinks?
Yeah, for drink. That's
And she's
like
21?
That's like But like
know.
it might be that kind of thing where the 15-year-old's like, "Ooh, this is my cool older friend."
That's what I'm thinking,
Yeah.
too. Anyways, so she brought her for drinks, and this is getting close to Carla and Paul's wedding is coming up. Mm-hmm. So she steals from her pet store Halcyon, I don't know how to say things. It's a drug, and she puts it into this girl's drink.
Oh.
And this girl passes out. She runs over to Paul, and she's like, "Hey, Paul, got you a wedding gift."
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And it's your friend.
So, she brings Paul in, and then Paul rapes her and assaults her. And then the girl wakes up in the morning and doesn't remember anything because of the drug.
Oh my god.
So she never knew that
she was
raped.
unconscious.
She was.
Oh god.
So now fast forward to 6 months before the wedding.
Yeah.
That was like 7-8 months before. Now we're at 6 months. They both had new jobs. Carla Homolka started at an animal clinic, so she's moving up. Paul Bernardo lost his job, and he was actually smuggling cigarettes from the U.S. to Canada.
Cigarettes?
Yes, but he wasn't telling anybody that he was doing that, so Carla didn't know.
Wow.
But that's what he was doing.
Why?
I
It's
do
not
not
even
know.
illegal.
Weird. Okay, so this is December of 1990.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And Paul was a little bit pissed off at Carla because Carla could give him everything he wanted except her virginity because she had slept with people prior to being with Paul.
Mm-hmm.
And Paul didn't like this. Paul really wanted her virginity.
So it's not how it works.
So how did they propose to fix this? Well, Paul had sort of a thing for Carla's younger sister, Tammy.
No.
And he would flirt with Tammy, and...
How old is Tammy?
It doesn't say. I couldn't find it. I'm sorry, guys. But younger sister, so younger than 20.
Okay.
He'd even made out with Tammy one time, Carla's sister.
Okay.
Like, cheated on Carla, and she knew, but alas.
I mean, she lets him rape people.
That's true.
Helps him
I guess
rape
making
people.
out with her sister is not a big deal.
It's kind of like a lower tier issue.
Anyway, so Christmas was coming up this December, and Carla decided for Christmas that she would give Paul the next best thing to her virginity, aka her sister's virginity.
Oh my god.
So
bad.
They were all hanging out one day, drinking in their basement of Carla's parents' home in St. Catharines.
Yeah.
And Carla had stole halothane from her work at the animal clinic, which is a drug used. It's an... Why can't I think of the word? When they put you under anesthesia?
Yeah, anesthesia.
Yeah, it was an anesthesic drug. So she stole it from work and she put it into Tammy's rum and eggnog cocktail. And Tammy passed out, and then she soaked a cloth in it and put it over Tammy's face. And then called Paul in. They set up a nice little video camera.
Did they record other things?
You'll see. But she set up a nice little video camera and said to Paul, "Merry Christmas, have my sister's virginity."
Oh my god.
Which is disgusting.
That is the worst. She's
so
actually...
This gets worse.
It's worse?
As Paul is raping Carla's sister, he turns to Carla and he's like, "This is boring, sis. Join in."
No.
And what does Carla do? Carla do whatever Paul wants. So she joins in assaulting her own sister.
Oh my god, that's so fucked up.
And then halfway through, Tammy starts to choke and stops breathing.
Yeah.
And they were like, shit. This is your sister. We need to do something. So they hide all the evidence. They put her in her clothes. They put her in her bed. Because you have to remember, this is her parents' home while her parents are upstairs sleeping.
Oh my god.
And they call 911. They try to resuscitate her with CPR, but they were unsuccessful. And when the authorities and the ambulance and everything got there, she was pronounced dead.
Wait, they called
They called 911.
911.
They tried to help her.
What was their story?
I'm getting there. So she's pronounced dead, and they told authorities that they all got drunk and that Tammy got a little too drunk and was choking on her own vomit, and they couldn't get it out of her, and that she died of just choking on her own vomit. Mm-hmm. And the coroner looked this over, and despite the fact that Tammy had chemical burns on her face, the coroner said it was death by choking on her vomit.
Excuse me?
Yep, that actually happened.
Did he get fired after?
Honestly, she had chemical burns on her face.
That's a little suspicious.
Just a little. So after this incident happened, they realized how much they actually liked killing people.
Like, as a couple?
Yeah.
Wow.
And they would reenact it. Like, Carla would dress in Tammy's clothes.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Do they have the video still?
I'll get to that.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm getting there. Okay. Side note. After this incident, they invited back the 15-year-old girl from earlier for another sleepover.
Who didn't know what happened.
Yeah, that one. They invited her back, and because she didn't know what happened, she was like, "Yeah, of course, let's hang out again. I'll come over for a sleepover." And they did the same thing that they did to Tammy, but when this girl stopped breathing, they actually successfully resuscitated her with CPR. Which is crazy.
Wait, what was she choking on? Like, just her own vomit?
Yeah.
From, drinking? All that? Or,
from trying to throw the drug up, I guess.
Yeah, makes sense.
So that happened. And in my notes it says, "Exciting, let's get another." So, one day, Paul was driving back to St. Catharines, they moved out to St. Catharines. So Paul was driving back to St. Catharines, and he drove through Burlington, which is between Hamilton and Oakville, for people that want to know. And he saw 14-year-old Leslie Mahaffey walking down the road. It was late at night because she was coming from awake from her friend who had just passed away, and she actually was past her curfew and got locked out of her house. And that makes me so sad because
really
you know
sad.
that the parents are now, like, so sad about that. Like, that just makes me so sad.
Yeah. That's, oh, no, so she's just, like, sitting outside her house.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Paul pulled his car up to her, and he said to her, he said, "Hey, girl, move, get away, or, like, run from here because I'm going to break into your neighbor's house." This part is really confusing to me because I just don't get it. But she responds to this by asking Paul if he has a cigarette.
What?
That she could have.
Maybe it started with that?
No, it's in this order.
Okay.
This is the correct order. So she asked him if he can have a cigarette, and he goes, "Yeah, here, come to my car and get one." Mm-hmm. And then she's like, "Then I'll get out of here. Like, you can go break into my neighbor's house. I'll just get the cigarette and be on my way." Mm-hmm. So she goes up to his car, and I think you know what's about to happen. He blindfolds her, shoves her into his car, and drives her back to St. Catharines.
Okay, wait, but what was the point of him saying, "Get out of here"?
I think he, at some point, just wanted her away from her home so he could, like, kidnap her, probably. Because she was in front of her family home.
I guess
she probably would have screamed, and, like, he was probably waiting for a better time.
Maybe.
I really don't know, but he ended up getting her, so. Drives her back to St. Catharines. She's blindfolded because he doesn't want her to see who he is. Because it was at night, so she didn't get a good look.
Oh, okay.
So he calls Carla into the room, and he's like, "Look what I've brought us. It's a blindfolded 14-year-old. Let's get the video camera." Like,
oh my god.
The worst. So she sets up the video camera, and they do their thing. And then he was telling Leslie Mahaffey, he was like, "If you keep this up, like, I'll let you go. Like, you're doing so well." Ugh.
Oh.
Ugh. So gross.
Oh.
And then Leslie goes, which, "I'm sorry, girl. I'm so sorry, girl." She goes, "My blindfold's slipping off," which meant she could see them. Oh. So then they were like, "Welp, she knows who we are."
Why did she say that?
Poor girl. She didn't know better.
Oh, no.
So the next morning, Carla spikes her drink. Actually, this is unknown because in court, when they testified, she said that Paul strangled her to death. He said that she poisoned her drink. So nobody knows which one's actually true.
What if it's both?
Could be both.
She dead? She's dead.
Oh, she's dead. She died.
Doesn't the autopsy show if there's poison in her system?
Well, they hid her body in the basement. And the next day they had their entire family over for dinner.
Oh, as you do.
As you do, with this body in their basement.
Yeah.
And then the family left.
Could be another wife, you know?
The family left, and they were like, "Okay, time to dispose of her." So they got a saw, and they cut her body into pieces.
Oh my god.
So there's your no autopsy report.
See, that's how you... Okay, it's one thing to, like, kill someone and then, like, bury their body, but to, like, disassemble them is, like, another level.
It's so... In Bandersnatch, if you've done Bandersnatch, you know that there's one part where you get to choose to either bury the body or chop up the body. It's like one of the choices.
Oh yeah, I chose like both of them just to see it.
Yeah, in the end you have to chop up the body, but I remember doing everything in my power not to. I did everything in my power not to kill Dad. Sorry, Dad.
I tried really hard not to kill Dad.
I know, I feel like everybody did, but they make you kill Dad, and that's really sad. So they cut up her body, and then they encase each part of her body in cement, and then drive up to Lake Gibson, which is in Niagara Falls, and they dump all the pieces into Lake Gibson. But one of the pieces of cement was so big they couldn't, like, bring it far enough out into the lake, so it was kind of near the shore. So then a fisherman, on the day of Carla and Paul's wedding, a fisherman found the cement block and, like, turned it into police, and they, like, found the body in it whilst these two were just getting married. I don't know why that's so messed up to me. Well, obviously it's messed up, but it's just, like, on their wedding day, a body was found that they killed, and they were just like, "Let's get married and go on a honeymoon."
Killer couples are the worst.
I agree. Okay, so the next year, 1992. So they weren't caught for that yet.
Okay.
1992. Hadn't even been questioned about it. Mm-hmm. Not connected to them at all. They were driving around St. Catharines with the point of finding their next victim. This is when they come across 15-year-old Kristen French walking home from school. So they pulled over the car, and Carla, looking like an innocent, like, young woman, steps out of the car holding a road map and is like, excuse me, can you help me with the directions?
Uh,
And Kristen walks over, looks at the map, and that gives Paul enough time to go behind her, grab her, and shove her into their car.
This is 92?
92.
Yeah.
So she gets shoved into the car, and they bring her home, and they set up their video camera. You know, they do all the things that they do. But this time, they didn't blindfold her, so you knew already that
she's gonna die.
that they were gonna kill her, which
Yeah.
is really sad. What happened here, though? Oh, and then they put her body into a ditch in Burlington, so kind of far away from Niagara, probably about an hour. And so when they kidnapped her, a lady actually saw it happen. But
Wait, the lady saw it happen?
like a lady saw them shove this girl into their car.
Okay.
So she called police.
Yeah.
And she gave a description of the car. But she gave the wrong description of a car.
Oh my God.
She was like, oh, I didn't write this down. I don't know why I didn't. I think she said it was like
color wrong or the brand wrong.
She got the make and the color wrong.
How do you get the color wrong?
Well, I think she was close. I think she said like gold and it was beige or something like that. Like she
okay,
got
but
really
that's like close enough.
But she got the make completely wrong. So people were looking for like a car. They put this car on billboards after being like, have you seen this car? And it was totally the wrong car.
That's the worst.
It is. About a month later, the body was found. And that's when police started to question Carla and Paul again, just based on like everything that's happened. So then they started to get spooked. So they went and legally changed their last name to Teal.
Okay.
And this just baffles me. The reason they changed the last name to Teal was because in a movie in 1988, so 4 years prior, there's this movie called Criminal Law, and there was a serial killer in this movie, and his last name was Teal. So they changed their last name legally to the last name of a serial killer. I'm like, come on, guys. They're telling you.
Yeah.
They're literally telling you.
Yeah. It's a family of serial killers.
Yes. So, remember like 3 years ago when they took Paul's DNA for the first time?
No.
Like 3 or 4 years ago?
Okay.
Yeah, they finally got it tested. They let that DNA just sit there because they had DNA,
and they just did not.
and like from one of the assault victims, they had DNA to test it against, and they just never tested Paul's against it.
Okay.
So they finally did, and it came back that Paul Bernardo was the Scarborough Rapist.
How long has that been going on?
So this is happening in 1992.
Okay.
And it first started in 1987. So it's been 5 years.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
Yeah, that's a really... Like, from the killings or from his first rape?
From his first assault.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been 5 years. And, like, it's just so crazy because it, like, literally followed him around. It was Scarborough, it was Mississauga, it was St. Catharines.
Yeah, they never thought twice.
It was Burlington, which is close-ish to Mississauga. Like...
People never suspect the good-looking guy.
True, he was just too charming.
With his sales pitch.
Oh, yes.
He's convinced them.
So, I actually didn't write any more notes because I think I just forgot to finish this, but I do know what happens. So it goes to trial, and Carla was talking to her lawyer, and she was like, hey guys, it was literally all Paul. Like, it was all him. And I will testify against him if you guys let me go. Like, she was like making a plea deal, and there was nobody like actually thought at this point that she was super involved.
Yeah.
Everybody just knew
like,
it was Paul.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's very baffling to think that she would be involved.
Yeah. Because it was her own sister was one of them, right?
Exactly. And like, she's like, just like by the merit that she's like a woman, you know? Like, you would think that you would have a little compassion, but
alas,
I guess not.
So the courts actually granted her this plea deal, and it's known as the deal with the devil because she got off completely.
She got immunity?
Well, she got off all charges of like assault and first-degree murder, second-degree murder. In fact, she was only charged with manslaughter.
Oh, I've heard this part. Oh, this is the part where I read in the article that didn't go very deep into it.
Yes, so she just got charged with manslaughter.
Oh, yeah, and she's still out
And
there.
then finally one day, hidden in their ceiling tiles, they found the videotapes in their house of all of this stuff, and they saw how involved she truly was, and they were like, wow, big frickin' mistake.
And you can't, like, you can't charge
You can't undo it.
Fuck.
So they got her for manslaughter.
Is it because of...
Once you make a plea deal, that's the law. You can't go back on that. That's a plea deal. She pleaded guilty to manslaughter in order to not get any of the charges and agreed to testify. That was her plea deal. So, or her plea bargain. So,
did they possibly miss, like, a killing? Like, a victim?
Well, okay, so every place I've researched, it says 3 to 4 victims.
Yeah.
Because nobody actually knows if it was just Tammy, Leslie,
if there's,
and
like, a tape
Kristen
of her doing something to a victim that wasn't named, couldn't they charge her for that one?
But there wasn't.
So all of them were named at the time, even, like, before they found the videotape. So they just knew.
They knew it was 3, but she said she wasn't involved. So they found the videotapes after searching for so long. And then Paul got convicted of all the charges because clearly, and he's life in prison with no possibility of parole.
Good.
And he's up in the Kingston penitentiaries. If anybody's passing through Kingston, say hello for me. I'm totally kidding.
Don't do that.
Do not do that. Do not say hello for me. No. I do not want to say hello to him ever.
Good.
And she moved to Guadalupe and then to Montreal, got remarried, and has 3 kids.
Oh my god, actually?
Yeah. So they got divorced in 1994, and then she got remarried. She has 3 kids, and get this, she was running a daycare for a bit until people found out who she was.
Wait, what? How does she, like...
She changed her name, she changed her appearance, she, like, totally switched who she was, but then it got out again.
No, but I feel like that shit just follows you, doesn't it? Like, if you're, like, a sex offender, like, how do you get a job after that? Because it's on your record.
And she's, like, crazy insane.
Yeah, that's, like, a thing. Like, isn't that at least on her record?
Like, I hope so.
I mean, she just got manslaughter, right?
Yeah, manslaughter.
But don't you have to... Like, don't you have to say something about that? Like, if you're trying to get a job, don't you have to reveal that you have a criminal record of some sort?
But I don't know. It was like...
I guess it never came about that.
She lives in Montreal now.
It wasn't...
Like, on freely, with her 3 kids and her husband. Horrible. Disgusting.
That's terrible. Imagine, like, the kids. Those poor kids. Imagine finding out that your mom did all that shit.
Literally, I actually really hope those kids never find out.
Yeah, I know. That's really fucked up.
I just for the sake of their well-being. The fact that somebody married her.
I mean, she's probably super charming.
Ew. Well, okay, so I looked up whether they were psychopaths or not, and...
They can't be. They, liked each other.
He scored 36 out of 40 on the psychopath test.
Oh, wait, no.
And she scored something like 8. Like, she was not a psychopath. He was.
Like, what?
Well, did he really love her? Do we really know that?
No, we don't know that part, but I feel like she definitely liked him.
Well, she's not a psychopath. 8 or 12 out of 40? That's not high.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm an 8 or 12 out of 40. I'm kidding. That was a joke. So, yeah, that's the case of the Scarborough Rapist / schoolgirl killers / Paul Bernardo and Carla Homolka, a.k.a. the worst people ever.
What's her new name? We should expose her.
I know she kept her last name at Teal.
Really?
Yeah.
Dumbass.
Let me look at what her name actually is. Oh my gosh, my Google search is, what's Zayn Malik's nickname? Don't ask everybody.
Does he have a nickname?
If you know it, please let me and my friend Allie know. Her name's Leanne Teal. Now.
Leanne Teal.
Yes, Leanne was her middle name.
Montreal.
She lives in Montreal.
Please be careful if you meet a Leanne Teal. How old is she now?
She is 48, and she lives in Montreal.
With 3 kids and a husband.
Yep, she's been out of jail since 2005.
Yeah, I remember reading an article about her.
That's crazy that she was only convicted of manslaughter.
Yeah, that's so sad.
Well, for a while, she was relocated out of, like, protection, right? Because people, like, wanted to kill her.
Fair enough. Like, what?
Well, obviously.
Like, even after they found all the tapes, they gave her protection.
Well, they can't go back. It was already made.
I know, but they didn't have to give her protection. They didn't have to. They just set her free, right?
Well, she already had protection against
Charges
of murder and assault.
Yeah, but, like, they don't have to protect her from the public.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah, they didn't have to do that. Like, even...
Oh, here's something interesting. A poll of 9,521 voters concluded that 63% believed that the public has the right to know of her location.
Yeah. You should, because, like, she's potentially dangerous.
Okay, to be more specific, as of April 20th, 2016, she's been living in Chateauguay, Quebec. I said that so wrong. I'm so sorry, French people. I am so sorry. Chateauguay? Chateau, Guay. I tried my best. Please don't hate me, French people. Do not come for me. She's never going to get pardoned from her charge, though, which is nice.
Yeah.
It will always be on her record.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, how did she get that daycare job? Like, especially with childcare, you definitely have to go through extreme vetting. Or, like, I would hope you do.
Maybe it was, like, a personal business. So, like, she made it herself. That's probably what it was.
Oh, my God.
That would make sense. And people just didn't, like, look up her name. Research. When you're putting your child in daycare, look up the name of the person taking care of them. That's the lesson of the day.
If you live in Quebec.
If you live anywhere, look it up. You never know.
Look it up.
Please just keep your kids safe.
Yeah.
And I know you shouldn't have to feel like your kids are unsafe. Nobody should. But there are bad people. And alas. Do your research.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Paul, let me see what Paul's doing. I know he's in jail. He's
What's Paul up to?
He's in Kingston, right?
Is he someone's bitch?
Hopefully.
Probably.
Oh, no, he got moved from Kingston.
Oh, where is he
He's
now?
in Millhaven, which is in Bath, Ontario. Oh, yeah, his number of people that he actually raped is... Mm-hmm. Every article just says more than 13.
More than 13.
But nobody knows the exact number.
So he's killed 3 confirmed.
3 to 4.
3 to 4.
3 to 4. And then raped more than 13.
Okay, at least he has no parole.
Yeah, no. Good. He should be...
there forever.
Forever.
Good.
I lied. He is eligible for parole.
Oh.
And February of 2018, last year, he became eligible and he was denied.
Good.
So now he's in life for prison.
Good.
In life for prison. In prison for life. I can't speak words.
How old is he now? Like 50-something?
Well, if she is...
6 years.
He's 54.
Yeah.
Because she's 48.
Wow,
so.
He's younger than I thought he was.
Yeah, like this... Well, keep in mind, when they were doing this, they were like 20 and 26.
That's fucked.
That's so... 20 years old. That is us next year.
Stop it.
Imagine being married.
You mean us this year?
Oh, frick, this year. Imagine being married.
No. Imagine being married, not even imagine killing people.
Well, because I can't imagine that. But marriage is like a thing that people are doing that are our age.
Yeah, that's weird.
That is weird. Okay, so just before we go, I just wanted to say, I'm probably going to say this every time, we mean no disrespect to anybody, any families of victims, or anybody at all. We're trying to be as respectful as possible about this stuff. We're here to inform and to help you stay safe by hearing this stuff, not to make fun of it or make a joke of it. It is serious, and we're just trying to enlighten you.
We're just commenting.
We're just commenting. It's just stuff we found online.
Yeah.
Put together in a podcast. We mean no disrespect.
Take our opinion with a grain of salt.
And if you feel differently from how we feel free to let us know. If we're saying anything that could come off in a wrong way, feel free to let us know. We're here to be better, not be the worst.
Thanks for listening.
Tune in next week and rise in crime, everybody.